Good morning. It is another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast, number 88, Pat Kane's number.
That's right.
It is June 5th, 2024. A beautiful day in Greenville. Not really. It's rainy
Is it
again.
again?
Yes, it was pouring this morning. It was bad.
Wow.
So what I
And
keep telling Eddie is at least it's not super, super hot and muggy like it usually is. And we're not going to have a drought. So yes, it sucks that we're getting this much rain. Everything's getting flooded. It's a lot of years compiled into this one season of rain. Just enjoy it. Because once it ends, it's going to be so gross and disgusting.
All right, so all the statements and comments by Sassy Sarah, Tony Lowe, and Eddie Buffalo are purely for entertainment purposes. And I'd like to dedicate this show to my daughter, Katie Bednar. She was on the show a couple weeks ago. She's having a little medical thing going on, and just keep good thoughts for everybody. I'd appreciate it.
Prayers.
So what are we doing today, Don? Is today tax day?
Hello,
No.
excuse you. Excuse you.
Annuity day?
Hello.
What woman?
Am I going to be able to say my spiel to get people to follow us and like us and share us?
Wednesday? She got the wet look today. Let me tell you what. She's a super freak. She's super freaking out.
Dude, you're going to get us
James
kicked off for copyright. Just stop.
I don't really care. I'm from Buffalo. Rick James from Buffalo. Come at me, bro. Come at me.
Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow, all the things. We're on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, you might catch one of our reels. All the places, all the things, do the things.
So
now you can go.
If you use TikTok, what is the technical term for who you are? Are you a TikToker? Because I say that all the time, and I don't think it's right.
I think that's what it is, but
I'm not on TikTok.
Okay, you like Googling stuff. Google that, Sarah. Well, what is it? Because you already told me we suck on TikTok. That was the conversation we had.
No, that's not. That is not what I said.
Obviously, if you're getting those kind of numbers, you suck.
Whatever. I Googled what the numbers were. Like, hey, we got this many numbers. Is that good? Because I don't TikTok. I don't know. And it said, oh, if you get underneath this number, it could be your stuff has been posted before or you just suck. And I'm like, is that why people want to get rid of TikTok? Is because they're rude? Because I start thinking I need to be on the app because that's awesome.
Oh, there's a lot of sassy people like you out there on TikTok. So you need I'll Sassy Sarah. I'm TikToking and watch me go. TikTok. I'm Sassy Sarah. Watch me go. Maybe they got the name for me the way I type on my keyboard.
I was just about to say that. That looks like your typing skills.
And Tiger Dan Driscoll at Bishop Timon taught me typing. So you want to blame him? Blame anybody. Blame that guy. He used to know my Uncle Frank, so I'd be sitting there, trying to do my typing to type. Bednars, how you doing? Right on the back of the head, he would get me.
Of course.
I'm so glad you know my uncle. I get that extra treatment.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. It's like, actually, that was probably good training for boxing, because I was getting hit and then, it was coming.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I got a hard melon. So now, Sarah's not going to be here for the whole show. So you got anything you'd like to talk about, Sarah?
Well, it depends. You like to cut it off right at 30 minutes. So as long as you don't ramble. And of course, this will be the one day you do.
Then come to Greenville and kick this dead horse. We're not Sarah and I, we have a conversation almost every day, that the show should be longer, that it should be at least an hour long.
I slowly work up to an hour. I said, add a few minutes. Let's see how it goes. If the listeners like it.
I'm thinking about our viewers because more than a half hour of me is too much for anybody. So it's a public service I'm doing, Sarah.
Oh, you're so kind.
I know, right?
So kind.
I'm glad you understand that.
Bless your
because
heart.
and this isn't something we haven't talked about. We are negotiating with a major network for a TV show. And if we do an hour, 20
No, no,
minutes
no, no,
is gonna
no.
be
Hold on.
commercial.
Not a TV show. You keep saying TV show. It is literally for a podcast. TV show is different.
Doesn't know this, but it's gonna be a TV show. Yes. Yes. Maybe they'll get you some makeup so you're not so white.
No, I'll still be white. That's never going to change.
And get some hair for you, Donnie Lowe. But go and get a toupee. You got it on one of the shows. You have to show us a picture of you with hair. I would like to see that.
I don't know if I have to picture that old.
Come on, you know you do. Don't lie. If you do that, I'll show my ridiculous high school yearbook picture with all my long hair.
Oh my God, how
You
funny.
had long hair.
It got better. Long hair and a powder blue tux. That's what all the portraits were done in back then.
That's
Back in
powder
the day.
blue, baby. Powder blue.
I don't remember if it had the ruffles though, Donnie. I don't think it did. It had a little bow.
Ah, you missed out on that.
I guess so. Yeah.
I actually, for my 8th grade graduation, had a pair of powder blue shoes with the white sole, kind of like the thick sole, you know, like almost Elton Johnish. Oh, I was so happy. I'm so proud of those things. Look at me.
Now, you'll know what I'm talking about, Don. The youngster here won't know about it. So my senior prom, I went to Tuxedo Junction. Are they even around anymore?
I think no, I'm not sure.
I had a 3-piece silver suit from, wait for it, the Dynasty collection.
Oh my God.
Do you know what that is, Sarah? That was a god-awful TV show, Dynasty. It was kind of like Dallas, but
okay.
Yeah.
It was before Dallas, wasn't it? Or was it concurrent?
No. It had Joan Collins and
Joan Collins.
She was hot. She even alive? Sarah, Google that. You're a Google.
No, she's not alive. And what
when did she die?
What was the main actor's name?
I can't remember.
John Forsythe.
Was that Charlie from Charlie's Angels?
He was the voice, you're right, of Charlie's Angels. John Forsythe.
Yes. He's probably dead too. Half of those people are dead.
Oh
Why do I keep on wanting to say Linda Evans, but wasn't she Dallas? Give us the cast of Dynasty, Google girl. That's your new name. Instead of Sassy Sarah, it's Google girl. Google girl.
We are talking about insurance. We are not about TV shows and
Google Dolls.
podcasts.
Wait a minute.
Google Dolls.
That might be a second fun podcast.
Busy up the girl. It's funny. So do you? Yeah, obviously you probably know who the Goo Goo Dolls are, right, Sarah?
I'm not that young.
You're not that old either, all right?
I'm not. I'm right in the sweet spot. Not too old, not too young. Like perfect. So
the Goo Goo Dolls used to play the Continental. They were a punk rock band.
Yeah.
And once they got mainstream and started, getting hits, a lot of their older fans didn't like them. Because they sold out.
They sold out to the man.
They're making money,
I know.
So if we start making a ton of money on the podcast, are we sellouts?
No, because we're not going to sell out.
Because right now we're going through, me and Sarah have a long conversation about appropriate sponsorship for the show. And I'm not saying who because I don't want to give him a free commercial, but she won't want to do one. And I was going to get her a nice model to work with. Donnie Lowe, it's you.
No. Anyways, but there was somebody else and I told him he needed to take it. And I said, I'll do that sponsorship if he's like,
it was for a restaurant. And I'm like, I hate them.
Okay.
I ain't doing that. No.
Whatever.
So that was our negotiation this morning, that she'll do the ball shaver if I agree to do the restaurant. So
I thought we were
I didn't say for you to do it. I said I could
basketball.
do the restaurant, and a ball shaver would be hilarious because I can just shave a balloon.
I thought we were not going to do the basketball conversation.
Well, I didn't say what company it was.
It's whatever.
I didn't say what company it was. Because we ain't doing it, all right? We ain't doing it. Sorry,
but so here's
guys,
the thing:
we're not
is
doing
he
it.
says he's not going to talk about it, and then goes and gives specifics about it.
I
That's
know.
There's how much specific? It was all general terms I was using.
Hmm.
Whatever. Let's move on. What are we talking about today, Don?
Insurance questions podcast.
Hey,
Number
you got it right
88.
today. So it's not life insurance questions podcast?
It's
Question mark?
insurance questions podcast. Come on, Eddie B. You know better.
Well, obviously you didn't yesterday, Donnie Lowe. So that's
Well.
why I'm giving you a hard time. Well, at least you're better than Sarah. Sarah never knows the name of her show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, based on our conversation, we thought we would talk a little bit about employee whole life.
What does that mean?
So employees can get whole life insurance. That is, the premiums are paid through deduction from their payroll. So it's nice and easy. And
It
depending
can't
on the
get turned
plan,
on.
well, you can get group term insurance that is available.
But the employer has to pay for it all.
And on group term, yes.
Now, let me ask you
However,
this, Don.
Yes.
If I get insurance through my work, and if I get the whole life, I get the term that comes to me from the company out of the goodness of their heart. But I want to upgrade. I want to get also whole life. Can my wife also get insurance?
Yes. Now there are some stipulations depending on the carrier.
Can my kids get insurance?
Yes.
How about my grandkids?
Absolutely. Well, here's the beauty of employee whole life insurance.
Physicals, you got to take a lot of physicals, right?
You have to take a ton of physicals. No, typically it's guaranteed issue.
What does that mean, Don?
Which means there's absolutely no underwriting involved.
So you just say, I want it. They have the employer start taking it out of your pay, and you're good. Why is that important, Don?
Well, because some people, health-wise, may or may not qualify for insurance.
This might be the only chance for them to ever get life insurance.
Exactly. And by getting whole life insurance that is payroll deducted, should you end up retiring or leaving the company that your whole life insurance is through, you can bring that with you. It's portable, as they say. So you can just
that's very
take that with you.
important. Catholic Hospital back in Buffalo about 10 years ago, they had a huge generation of nurses, just a lot of health people retire at the same time when they were cutting budgets and everything like this. And a lot of them, they were blindsided because their stuff was not portable.
Right.
And when they separated from the company, all that money they paid all that years, it's gone. It's gone. Because that was all term insurance. It wasn't even whole life. It isn't like we even had dividends on it. And what do I mean by that? Why doesn't term insurance have no dividends, and why does whole life have insurance, Don?
Well, term insurance is basically, it's considered a temporary type of insurance. So what the term means is you have it for a term of 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. Whole life insurance is something that you can carry as long as you maintain the payment of the premiums for your whole life. You can have that insurance.
And as a bonus, what do you get with whole life, Don?
Well, you get, again, depending on the carrier, but you get dividends. So if you're,
what is a dividend, Don?
If you're with a mutual insurance company, they try to earn dividends for all of their policyholders that have some form of whole life insurance or universal life insurance, and they pay dividends to the policyholders. They do not pay dividends for term policies, though.
Now, Sarah, let me ask you something real quick. Say if I worked for XYZ and they give me $50,000 of term insurance, but I decide I want to get whole life for myself, my wife, my kids, my grandkids, is there any way I can save on taxes with that because it's an expense?
So unless your family are employees, you can't really write off the families. You can write off yours. There's a certain way that it needs to be done. So
I just didn't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, we have to be careful with that.
Mhm.
You have to be careful with that because if it's something, it's typically a business that if they're paying for the policy, they write off the expense of that. Again, it depends on the state, so we have to be
Now,
careful
is
with
that the
that.
only thing we can provide them with? Whole life and term insurance? That's it? That's all we can get?
No, there's a whole bucket of list of items that and
Well,
services
give
that we
me
can
some
provide.
examples, Donnie Low.
So, payroll protection insurance. So
What's
what is
that mean?
that exactly?
What's that mean, Don?
Should
What's that mean,
should
Sarah?
you
How about you give him a chance to answer? You keep over
What's
talking.
that mean, Sarah?
would you care to answer that, Sarah?
I will let you take it away.
No. So payroll protection insurance basically is should you have to go on to some form of long-term disability if you get ill, injured, you can have disability or payroll protection insurance to maintain your income coming into your house, your household. And that's very, very important to
Donnie,
have.
is there a waiting period on these products? If
Some of the
I do
products,
get injured and I do have payroll protection?
it depends on how that policy is set up. So there can be a waiting period. You can have it a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day waiting period, or even longer, depending on the carrier. The longer the waiting period, the lower the premium is.
And
But
that's a really
you have
good
to weigh
point,
that.
Don. That's a
Yeah,
really good point. I mean, if you have money in the bank that you don't really care if you get hurt, something happens, you're going to be okay. But there's so many people in this country that live week to week that you take away that income for a week or two, you're hurting.
absolutely.
And we don't want to see
Absolutely.
that happen to anybody, especially any of our
No,
clients or the general public. You know, if you don't have this, reach out to somebody. If it's not us, reach out to somebody because there's so many ways you can protect your family that you just don't know about.
that's true. That's true. And a lot of people say, well, my company offers me disability insurance. So why do I need additional payroll protection? Well, typically when the employer offers that type of insurance, it's short-term disability and it's for a limited amount of pay. It might be for $500 a month or something like that. Well, if you're earning $3,000 a month, what is $500 a month going to do for you? Not
Mhm.
much.
Right.
Not only that, employer provided disability insurance, should you need to collect on it, is taxable. If you purchase your own payroll protection or disability insurance, that income that you get for that is not taxable.
See,
And I believe that's
that's
across every
that's a
state.
really good point, Don. It really
Yeah,
is.
so I mean, if you're basically earning 20% more, whatever your tax rate is, uh, so it's a true here. You're disabled. Here's some money to help sustain you.
So
Very important.
if I'm a business owner, obviously you can get in touch with us at wwebiagency.com.
Mhm.
But if I'm an employee and I work at a small company, how many employees does the company have to actually get one of these programs done?
So it depends on the carrier. It can be as low as three, depending on the state, or five. So for example, I know there are carriers that offer it for a business with three employees. It could be an owner and two employees, but they're not, they don't carry that product in every state. For example, in New York State, they don't carry that
I mean,
product.
if I'm a mom and pop operation and I want to keep my people, this is a good incentive. And
It's
if
a great
you're
incentive.
and if you're one of these employees that work for a mom and pop and you're thinking about jumping ship, you say, "Hey, Sarah, if you offered me some of that stuff, maybe I'd say, why don't you go to wwebiagency.com? And maybe I'll stick around if I have insurance. Maybe. How about that?
Maybe. I don't know if I would want to keep you around. I'm just saying.
Thank God I don't work for you. That's for sure. And thank God for you that I don't work for you.
I know, right?
So, Eddie, you got to go talk to human resources again. I told you, you got to stop talking like that. I mean, I might be sassy Sarah, but you're salty Eddie, salty. And I sound like I had to
Oh
talk.
my
Salty
God. We would
Eddie.
have so many HR issues because of you. It wouldn't be worth it.
That's not nice, Sarah. That's not nice.
You know it's true. Whatever.
Not nice. So basically we opened up a big can of worms here, a good can of worms, because there's so much out there. There's so many people that do not have any type of insurance. And when they finally get to the point where it's like, okay, I need insurance. Maybe you're overweight, maybe you have diabetes, maybe you got a DWI, you know, but getting a guaranteed issue through your employer might be your only way to get any type of life insurance, correct?
It can be, and even let's say, for example, a spouse of somebody
Oh,
that's employed.
100%.
You know that the spouse might be uninsurable, however, they can get it through the employer paid.
Now, is guaranteed the only type of issue that they can do?
No, there's another one. It's referred to as simplified issue,
So it's just
and what
simple to
that
do then?
means, it's a very easy process, and there are a very limited number of health and personal related questions that are asked.
Sarah, y'all smoke?
Nope.
Y'all do drugs?
Nope.
Have you been in a hospital or medical facility for more than 5 days within the past year? 5 consecutive days?
No.
You got the diabetes?
I do not. Somebody else does.
So that brings up a good point. Okay, so Aiden does have diabetes. Would he be able to get insurance through her work plan if it was guaranteed?
Probably. For a guaranteed issue, yes. Simplified issue, he still may be able to.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
So what I hear is I need to put him on payroll as an employee and get him life insurance.
No, your son does not have to be employed.
No, that's a good point.
As long as the company that you're working for, Sarah, offers this,
well,
you can get it for your son.
Well, I guess, yeah. If I wanted to have it for me and extend it to the families.
I mean, you're in a growth mode right now, and eventually you're going to be adding employees. And if the same person's looking at you and somebody else, and you're offering them $50,000 of insurance just to come and work for you, a lot of times that'll sway people to come work for you instead of your competitor. Does that make any sense to you, Sarah?
Yes.
So a lot of times what we find to that, Ed, to that point, is an employee might pay for, say, the first $10,000 of coverage for all of their employees. And then
unless it's term, and it starts at 50 and it has to be all the employees and the employer has to pay for it.
Right. But for the employee whole life, so an employer might say, you know what, I'm going to pay for the first $10,000 of your coverage. And then the employee can get additional coverage. They might say, well, I want an additional $25,000 or $50,000. But that's an incentive that the employer can make to the employee to say, hey, we've got you covered. And that policy is still the employees, and they can still take it with them. And the cash value that builds up in the whole life policy, they can take with them. So that's very important.
That was the one and only Tina Owens trying to call me. And she does a wonderful job, but she didn't know we were taping the show today, I guess, because we just started doing these. We were only on number 88,
But she doesn't know that.
Now, let me ask you this, Don. Okay, big deal. I'm a business owner. Yeah, you want to sell me this, whatever. I don't really care about my employees, but I'll do it. What are the perks I get as a business owner? What type of things can I get?
Well, as a business owner, you're offering this to your employees, and therefore you get the benefit of it. So if you're uninsurable, now you can have some whole life insurance.
Well, what if I want to get insurance for my partners and me? What can you do? How about key person? How about things like that? Is that available to me?
That is available to you. However, I would recommend for key person, and that should be another podcast, but key person, or what you're referring to is
I don't know what a key person is, Don. I read it on the interweb. Can you tell us what a key person is?
Yeah, they got the key to open up the office, right?
Yes.
Isn't that the key person?
Yes, or the one who
Robin's got a key to the office.
Answer, sir. Jeez. You were on something today. Did you have
I am so not.
Started recording?
Oh, with the frosting?
No, I didn't have any Pop Tarts, wise guys. All right. Maybe that should be a sponsor for the show because I talk about it enough.
Do you know the inventor of Pop Tarts? I forgot his first name. His last name is Post. He just passed away like a couple months ago.
How old is he?
He was 95 or 98, something like that.
Really? And so you're saying
Useless trivia again, right?
so you're saying if you eat Pop Tarts, you last longer? So I guess
Well,
Sarah's going to be hiding the Pop Tarts on me.
oh
Look
my
at that dead
goodness.
silence.
I know,
Look at
Wow.
he's
that.
on something today.
That
I
would
swear to
that
God.
it's more scary when she doesn't say something.
Yes. I did explain to him when I am upset and I'm actually loud, that's normal. Like that's good. When I get quiet, it's when you gotta worry.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So what to close on this particular part of our segment, what I would recommend is that just talk with us. There's a whole slew of different products and services that we can offer to enhance the benefits of your workforce, and that will help you keep and retain or attract employees to your
Oh
firm.
my gosh, yeah.
And I mean, it's extremely cost effective. It sounds like you're offering so much, it's got to be very expensive. It really isn't. It really
How about
isn't.
the paperwork? Is it ugly?
No, not at all. Basically, you get a line on your payroll system to deduct for that payroll deduction. We take care of everything else, basically.
Hmm.
Very simple.
Yeah. And is there a limit of people that can join this plan?
No, no.
So
Again, it might
most of
be anywhere
them,
from
at least
three
three,
to
right?
1,000
Hmm.
or higher.
Now, let me ask you this, Don. So I get this insurance and I don't want it. I don't want it. I know I'm not signing anything. I don't want it. What do we do to protect the employers?
We have a particular document that we ask that the employee that is declining the coverage, so it's a waiver of coverage, to sign that. And that is really for a couple things. It protects us, obviously, to make sure that we offer that product to every employee. It protects the employer, most importantly, so that
So
should something happen and they say, you never offered my husband or my wife
right here.
insurance. And we say, no, we did. They signed that they did not want that insurance coverage. So it protects the employer for sure.
So, okay, I say I don't want it. A couple months
Mhm.
down the road, I want it. What happens?
Well, they have to wait for the annual re-enrollment period.
And who decides when that is?
That's a great question. I
The
believe if
employer.
my
The employer.
the employer does or the
Yeah,
insurance company
the
does. No,
employer
yeah, I
does.
think you're right. The employer.
Because I mean, if you get a new employee, you can just add them on.
A new
But
employee
if
you can add.
but if somebody declines and they want it, they have to wait till the open enrollment. When that, like I
Right,
said,
right.
that's whenever, but don't get me wrong. I've had businesses where they don't care. They'll just, if somebody decides they want more insurance, they'll just add that on, you know.
Oh yeah.
And that's something, it's a very fine line. And Sarah, I think you can understand this working with business owners that a lot of times, we'll roll into these places. And I'll say, Donnie, this is what's valuable. And they're like, I want it all. I want it all. And then they get their next paycheck when all the deductions are out of it. And guess what they don't want anymore? The
Yeah.
insurance. So just
From
because,
the employee standpoint, yes, I have seen
yes.
that happen. I've also heard from employers, and the listeners need to be aware of this. If you're working for a company, smaller companies, they may not have the money to pay for it. I mean, I get
Mhm.
that. But I've actually heard employers, like owners of the businesses, say, I don't want to offer that because that's just a waste of money. So
I have to step away for a second so you guys carry on without me.
Okay. So, employer, they don't have to pay for that.
no. I just mean there's situations in place where some employers will cover portions of it. I know
Mhm.
with usually the short-term, long-term insurance. They don't. Life insurance, some employers do up to a certain salary point.
Right.
But I've heard a few employers, and it's only been a few, literally not think that it's worth it for their employees to offer any benefits. So
That's
it's important
interesting.
to know those are the employers you need to stay away from, because they just look at you as a number. So those are the ones who aren't offering like paid time off or health
All right.
insurance and 401k. And it's not coming from the place of they don't have the money for it. It's literally they don't value the employees.
Yeah,
And all they
exactly.
see is, hey, holiday pay, I'm closed and I'm paying you and I have no money coming in. And it's like, but you're letting them recoup with their families. Like, it's a perk. You want this.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
an FYI. I had one employer, I was trying to make changes, and that was one of the conversations. Like I said, there's been a few, but that was one of the conversations, is he didn't want to even pay time off to the full-time employees, because he's like, why would I pay you and you're not bringing any money in?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what their turnover rate
Oh,
is.
it was horrid. It
I'm
was
sure.
horrid.
I'm sure.
He also liked to hire illegals, and he had two companies. So they would work under one company, hit 40 hours, and he'd switch them over to the other company to work
my
another
goodness.
40 hours. So they would work 80 hours a week with no overtime pay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
he was a horrible person.
Ah,
So it is funny that you bring up something like that, because one of my clients, they're on the Mexico border in southern Texas. And I said, are you guys interested in, an EWL? And it's like, not really, because most of the guys that work for them are Mexican. And if they have a health problem, they just go pay cash in Mexico. So talk about living in a whole different type of world. And, Western New York, yeah, we're a border town too, but with Canada.
Yeah.
Here, this is a whole different animal,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we could make a whole podcast about that. My thing is you treat people with respect.
Mhm.
I like to treat people like adults. Like, here's the deadline, just meet the deadline. You don't want to hear from me as a boss because you didn't meet a deadline, because then
Yes.
there's a problem that you're not able to manage your time wisely.
When are you going to treat me like an adult? Ever?
You don't act like an adult.
Ah!
So that's kind of hard to
Ooh.
do.
Gosh, didn't you have to leave like
I
5 minutes
did.
ago?
I'm just going to be a little late, because God knows what you're going to say if I leave this podcast.
True. So
You're
I
on
gotta tell you,
something.
I gotta tell you a funny story. So I don't remember what episode it's 50 something with Laurie Schneer. It was our Freaky Friday episode. When I was doing my Sassy Sarah impression. So last Friday I was doing stuff around the house and I do something around. So I was listening to, I think I was on Spotify, and I was listening to our show. And as soon as it ended, I guess with with their all their numbers and everything, the next popular show comes up, and it's that show. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So we don't need Sarah. I can just be Sarah.
So that's where this is going.
That's where this
He
is
wants to
going.
fire everybody. Like, he wants to be in the limelight.
Me.
He wants the
It's just
TV
gonna be
show.
me.
He
It's
wants
just
all
gonna be
this other
me.
stuff. And I'm like, dude, a podcast just that breaks up my day. Instead of me having lunch, I can come and like shoot the crap with you guys.
So Laurie
Maybe
Schneer,
tips.
if you would
Like,
like a job on the podcast, you could be let me see, can't be lazy, Lori. We can't say that. That's not good. How about
No.
give me an L word. I got nothing.
And you notice how
Lovely Lori.
on times that I need to go, he's okay with doing 40, 45 minutes, 50 minutes.
Hey, I'm just doing what my partner wanted me to do. You want to do a whole hour?
Yeah,
Tell you
yeah.
what, I'm not gonna do a whole hour.
You better start your closing now. You better start the closing for the podcast.
So this was an interesting show. Thank you for all the positive vibes for Katie. She's doing very well.
Good.
That's why I had to step away to get
figured that
from home. But really, I mean, we're normal people. It's kind of. If you want to
No,
work with
I've
people,
never fit into the normal group.
well, most of us are normal. If you like working with people that are just like you, we're the people to see. You can reach us all at www.ebiagency.com. Just gotta hit the partnership button and you see Sassy Sarah there at McCutcheon Advisory. I'll tell you
Number
what.
one. I'm number one.
Or you can call us at 716-306-2020. Someone will get in touch with you. So for Sassy Sarah, Donnie Lowe, and your buddy Eddie Buffalo, tune in tomorrow for What's Tomorrow's Show, Don?
Annuities.
Yes.
A lot of
Donnie's
great
gonna
information.
be nude again because it's
You
all
sound so
about a
enthused.
nudity.
Every time.
Nudity. And Donnie, I love you, but nobody wants to see that, okay? I'll tell you what.
No.
So everybody stay safe out there and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.